So you want to bomb, but what actually works? How do you do it? In this video, I want to show you just that and much more. Hey guys, it's Dan, and welcome back to Unified Gaming. So first up, what is bombing? Bombing in the Elder Scrolls Online is all about stacking as much damage as you can to one-shot individuals or a group of people. You often sacrifice your defense and your sustain to do so, but is very, very effective. You'll use skills like proximity detonation, or you'd use the Desto ultimate and sets like Fisher's Death, Dark Convergence and Plaguebreak to help with this. If you do this well, it is very satisfying, although can be quite tricky and requires a lot of patience. It's high risk, high reward, but a lot of fun and even profitable if you do this well. The real question though is what classes can do this? In all honesty, in the current patch, every class can bomb to some capacity. Some are slightly better than others and with different playstyles, but all can bomb in some way. In the video, you'll see footage of a Magicka Nightblade bombing. This is from the richest guy in ESO. He's a YouTuber, so go check him out. Links down below. You can also bomb on classes like sorcerer with range bombing. All the footage are just on YouTube. The build's already live, so you can check it out if you want to. And you can do this on classes like necromancer, both range and melee, which you can see in the footage as well, provided by Savage, who's an ESO No One Else's Discord. All in all though, as I said, every class can bomb to some capacity. The real sort of thing we need to clear up though is kind of what do we mean by bombing and which types are there? Well, there's actually three kind of distinct ways to bomb currently. The kind of go-to traditional type of bombing is your Nightblade in your face melee bomb. This is all about using proximity detonation and then using an ultimate like Soul Tether and then Sap Essence to then just help finish people off and confirm the kills. This will often proc the Fisher's Death, which will then cause a chain reaction, killing more people in the process. The idea is that you're trying to line the proximity detonation up with your Soul Tether and you spam in Sap Essence to confirm the kills. If done effectively and well, you'll get kills almost in a one shot or thereabouts, and people are often stunned from the Soul Tether as well, so there's a little counterplay to this. The only way to avoid this bomb if you're on the receiving end is to be blocking, to be having just a really high health pool, or not to stack in the first place. Those are your ways to kind of avoid that. You can also do a similar type of playstyle with a Magicka Necromancer or just a Stamina Necromancer. The idea is that you're basically stacking your ultimate with the Graveyard synergy. You're going to use Dawnbreaker of Smiting as a Stam Necromancer with Blast Bones and the Graveyard synergy, so Graveyard synergized with Harmony, big explosion. Or you'd use the Flesh Atronach and Dark Convergence, which is a proc set that will pull them onto it, and again the Graveyard synergy. Both of these are incredibly effective, and this is provided by Savage that you can see on screen, so there's no reason not to try it. As for kind of the range bombing, which is less risky in my opinion, this is all about doing similar sort of effect but at range. The idea is that you're doing not so much a big initial hit, which is what the melee ones are really good at, almost that one hit kill. This is about just doing so much sustained damage you can't out heal it, and thus you die really fast. This is done really well on classes such as Necromancer, who have access to the Flesh Atronach, or classes like Sorcerer, who have access to Negate. You often use sets like Dark Convergence, which will pull people into the area. You will then spam AoEs, such as Elemental Ring from the Destruction Staff. You might even use Destruction Staff Ultimate if you're not one of those classes. And you're just going to basically hope people die. That's pretty much it. As I said, this range type bombing can be done on any class. The kind of best classes in my opinion are Sorcerer, because you've got access to the Daedric Tomb, which is the mines at a range. So you've got just AoE burst always there with Haunting Curse, Negate, quite effective, really good synergy with those skills. You can also use it on classes like Templar because you actually have access to Spear Shards. You also have access to the Beam, so you can execute people really fast with Radiant Oppression. So they can be pretty potent with that, as well as Magicka Necromancer with the Flesh Atronach and just spamming AoEs in a distance. That said, other classes can do this, just not as effectively. The final way to bomb is kind of a pseudo bomb, and it does worth mentioning, and this is Plaguebreak. The idea is that Plaguebreak is a proc set that when you damage people, they get a dot on them. If they cleanse or die, the dot explodes, doing more AoE damage to everyone nearby, and the damage scales up should people stack together. This works incredibly well against Zergs who spam purges all the time, but many of them have found ways to just avoid this by not stacking as heavily or running more heal over times to kind of counter it. That said, if done well, it is really effective but not reliable, so in my opinion can't be relied on too much. The only bonus of this is that it can just be done on any build. So if you're on a Dragon Knight, for example, Plaguebreak is a go-to set because it's very effective for your passives. So it's kind of just a free pseudo bomb in a way. But if you're trying to bomb it explicitly and to just nuke many people at once, it might not be the right one for you. So the real question now is kind of, which do you pick and what works for you? Well, from kind of easiest to hardest, the easiest one to kind of just get on a build is Plaguebreak. It's not really bombing in the traditional sense, but it is effective and it can work pretty well. Plus, if it doesn't, explode and kill people, you got the dot anyway helping you out, so there's no real loss there. You then have the range bombing. This is easier because you're at range and it's safer to do. If things go wrong, you can often escape and reset, recharge, reevaluate, and just go, I wasted a potion, I wasted my ultimate, that's really it. You then have the kind of melee in your face bomb, which, as you can gather, is incredibly high risk, high reward, but is probably the most effective way to bomb, especially in this high health, high healing meta that we're in currently. Healing is incredibly potent at the moment, and any heal over time, or just Templar Bubble, for example, is very, very hard to take down. And obviously, if you're using a range bomber, which is about sustained damage, you're not going to get the damage out quick enough, similar with Plaguebreak. Whereas with just a melee kind of burst bomb, like a necromancer or a Nightblade, you can get the damage out really quick in a short space of time. Thus, those heal over times don't become that effective because you just cancel out all that healing that would normally tick later on. So if you want to kind of, the hardest but most effective is that melee Nightblade necromancer bomb. In the middle, kind of just, it's effective, works well most of the time, is a range bomb. It's good in Cyrodiil, it's good in BGs, it's good in Imperial City. There's no reason not to try it. And if you want to kind of just have a bit of fun, hope for a pseudo bomb, Plaguebreak. But that's kind of how you do them. The kind of way to set them all up, just for those people curious and are still here, is really simple. For those melee bombers, you run basically the same setup. On the Nightblade, it's always Balorg, it's always Vicious Death, and then you use a damage set like New Moon. You can try and slot in the Mark and Ring if you play around with the build and stuff somewhat. So there's loads of ways to do this. Some people also use things like Dark Convergence, but it's not really as useful because you've got access to just better skills, in my opinion, with Cloak and stuff. If you're on Magicka Necromancer for the kind of melee bomb, you often just build it like normal. Stack loads of damage, you're tanky anyway, you got good heals because of the damage, and you just wait for your opportunity to blow people up. If you are setting out to bomb, however, you'd obviously do the same thing, but with Vicious Death as well. Often people use Balorg again for that big burst, and if you're range bombing, you always have to use Vicious Death, Dark Convergence, and then a monster set of choice. Balorg is kind of the go-to. We can use Magma Incarnate, which is still pretty decent as well. But all in all, that's how you do those builds. There's nothing special to them. They're highly effective, really fun, but can be difficult to master. And that is really all you need to know about bombing, guys. There's not much else to it. The only real tips and tricks and kind of, little hacks as such, if you were to call them, is practice. It sounds daft, I know, but practice, practice, and practice again. For the melee bombing, it's about timing. You need to practice getting that proximity detonation to explode at a similar or thereabouts time with the soul tether. If you get that to go off correctly, you'll often one-shot most people. You normally need to use a potion beforehand to get major sorcery and race against time to get minor force. But all in all, that's what you're trying to do there. On a Magicka Necromancer, you're just trying to stack your damage as high as you can. Clever Alchemist is a good option for this. Tank, 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 Clever Alchemist. Do your combo, people die. And for the range bombing, similar as the Nightblade, you're just basically trying to do the same thing. AoE in an area, pull people in, AoE spam, hope people die. But that's really it. There's nothing else to it other than just give it a go. Let me know what you think. And if you want to see more kind of actual in-depth guides of how to bomb, passives, sets, all that stuff, skills, then do let me know. But I think that's really enough there, guys. So I'd love to know what you think of the video, whether you found it helpful or not. And if you get any questions, as I said, just let me know down below. But I am actually going to wrap this video up here. So I'm going to say thanks for watching, guys. Take care and bye.